there is no luxury of time often with addiction.
If you genuinely want to help people, you have to have a community, and you have to believe in my opinion, the family system, whoever that is. So if that's, you have one friend and you need more than that, or a sober living, or a therapist, or a parent, everyone has to work together to heal. It's not one person's job. So it's the community as a whole.
Yes.
And that's, this website becomes a community. That would be my hope, personally.
Yes.
That this is the community for people that on both sides can speak to their truth.
Yes.
That there's access to resources, yes, but there's access to conversations. And I think where Lee got emotional, which I think is...
Oh, you're highlighting that again.
I'm highlighting
See how that
it.
works.
I'm highlighting it. Because it's so meaningful where you got emotional. It's because that people don't realize when you're in recovery, it's the bravest, most courageous path. These people are the most hardworking community givers I think I've personally ever met.
Sure.
That truly believe in giving back to others. That's sort of the foundation of being able to stay sober. And because of confidentiality in mind, I would speak more to that with my patients, but on a broad spectrum, I've had so many where they know how to give back. They know how to engage in a community model, and the isolation is really what kills.
And look at today with COVID and the isolation of those wanting to go to meetings. And I would say one of the tragedies our website is trying to remedy is that the community you speak of, family, so many times, more times than not, are not educated and don't know how to be a supportive community. It's not their fault. It's just we've not been taught. And this opioid epidemic has been long-standing, but has caught the world by surprise. So many, including my wife and I, who I'd like to think are sophisticated, smart people, had no idea what to do. And we found people that helped us, and we found more people that didn't help us. This website hopefully will be a source of, as you've said, the good people that will provide resources on this website, as well as voices of people that we think can help.
It's interesting what's coming up for me when you keep talking about community and you say family. I would hope ultimately the site could be, I think what's helpful is, because you'll hear it in people in recovery communities, family and community are the same thing to them. Because often the blood family is not who they have.
Right.
But it doesn't mean they can't create their own family, and they see it just as that family.
Lee made me realize that I could find love in a rock, much less every sentient being. Every sentient being. And that love is ultimately one of the most required components, ingredients of recovery. Love from others. More importantly, I would say self-love.
Sure.
It's the most people that are battling addiction are battling self-love.
Really what self-love is, I love this definition in the Course in Miracles, that you can't lose love, you can't lose your awareness of it. So I'll get a client to even start with that, can you open up to the possibility, and I even say the possibility because they're so resistant, why wouldn't they be, that there was love of the self to even get into a program. There was love in the self to make a phone call. There was love of self to reach out to someone and says, can you help me? That is not the part of you, the ego part that wants to destroy you. That's the part of you that wants to save you. And that's the love inherent in every human being.
Yeah. And every human being is the key there, because oftentimes it's not the person battling addiction that makes the call.
Yeah.
It's the 5 people in the room, like Lynn Marie, my wife and I, that convinced my daughter to make the call. It's the love within us that helped bring out the love within my daughter. Could you take a moment to explain what group is and the various groups that you both work with, what they are, just for those that may not know? Because again, by the time someone has seen this, they have opened the website.
Do you want to start with that one?
I think there's a lot of different forms of groups.
Yes.
The ones that, Lee and I facilitate as therapists are, groups, peer groups, where we bring in a specific topic, psychoeducate, but really the beauty of a group is all about the people in the group. And that's where, AA has done a really great job at that. It's getting people together to talk and to support each other. So the types of groups that we facilitate, we can, I could say something for days, and then, the peer that's sitting next to me could literally mimic and say the exact same thing I did, and the whole group's going to hear it.
Yeah.
So, and there's a lot of psychology to that for sure, but you want to hear from people you can relate to, that you feel understood by. And that's, I think, the most important part of having access to a group process as well.
Yes.
Also an accessing issue, for
Yes.
sure.
And so many don't.
Yeah.
So many.
And there's a lot of programs that have free groups,
Yes.
which is also fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
And
these
some of them
groups-
are peer run, and that could be just as effective.
Oh, yeah.
It doesn't need
Yeah.
to be run by a licensed person.
Yeah. Yeah, these groups, I want to be known, are available for parents, for
Oh, sure.
loved ones, for those struggling with addiction. They're not just for those struggling with addiction. They're for people like Samaya and I that, as sophisticated as we thought we were, we're helpless. And our goal is to take away the stigma in addiction, because it is a disease. It is not something to be stigmatized, or one that somebody should be slapped with shame about. So part of the goal of the Love Cancer Foundation, might be time for me to take a tissue, is to save the lives of those struggling with addiction by providing resources to them as well as to their loved ones. Because it is so hard often for the loved ones to know what to do. I believe that this website will be one that will be part of many that will provide so much of what we couldn't find to help save our daughter's life. We won't save every life, but if we save one, if we save 100, if we save 1,000, it makes me being alive feel worthwhile.
I think that if you come across this particular website, you're clearly looking for something, and if you don't know what that is, this is the place for you to be, because the resources here and the people that have put this together truly care, and I'm a believer that there's always a solution and there's always somebody on the other side. You just have to find the right person, the right community. So don't lose hope. There's always hope.
So if you're on this website right now looking at me, one thing, you're not alone. And I want you to realize something that you probably don't recognize yet, is that you have more strength and courage than you realize just by looking at the site. All I ask is that you search the site and you find the help with you need. You don't need to figure it out at the moment.
Thank you. Well, I will end this moment by saying what I said in the initial moments of the worst moments of my life, that there is love.